A big part of living and sailing on a boat is maintaining the boat. In this episode, we get hauled out in Marsden Cove, New Zealand, and we will take you through the whole process of our boat being hauled out and all the jobs that we had to do and all the challenges we came upon and our boat finally getting dropped back in the water. And a few more challenges then too.
That we share is as deep as the sea. No matter how rough things may come to be, you and me, we're family. Sing home.
Marsden Cove has a large area for wet berths and also a separate area for dry berths. They use a tractor and a trailer to haul the boats out in this marina, as opposed to a cradle. They cross the main road and take the boats down a private road towards the dry dock. The boats are first placed into a special berth where they are sprayed down and washed. Our boat is then supported on chocks in a space where we will work on her for the next few weeks. This has to be one of the cleanest boatyards we have ever been to. As we can't run the generator when we're out the water, Woody tries to work out how we can connect to shore power. We also need to fold away our massive genoa.
So like I say, are you ready? And you say yes, and I say okay, let's do it. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Would it be easier if one person was here?
Sorry. No.
Would it be easier? Well, whatever.
3,
But it's better on the sides.
3.
Would it be easier like
Let
this?
him try on the back, you and help. No, you get on that side.
3, 2, 1.
No, it doesn't work.
Not gonna work.
2, 1, go.
Fine. Okay, that's the way.
Push it. Over. That's it, well done, that's a good one.
3, 2, 1, go.
No, wait.
Oh, he wasn't ready. Oh, wait. Was that...
2, 1, go.
Nice.
You can't do it the second
Right,
time.
now we need to get it in the... Hold that, Ewan. We need to get it in the bag. I mean, they did really well, but sometimes it's really hard work trying to get them to do it and concentrate more than like 2 seconds. But anyway. Ready? 1, 2, 3, lift.
So this is the outboard that we inherited with the boat, and it was built in 1997, so it's very old. But we managed to keep it going on life support for this 5 years. But we were at the point where we thought we're just going to give up on it because it's like so temperamental and so unreliable. But then I've done a service, and even though it's still not working, I've managed to get the fuel pump off, which it's getting starved of fuel, and I've tried everything else, and this is the last thing that I've tried. And so I managed to take the fuel pump off, but to get the fuel pump off, you've got to take half the casing away to get to it, like this. And so these service kits for the pump are still available, amazingly enough, and they're not that expensive, so it's worth one last try. There's an Evinrude workshop actually just across the road from here. I'm going to save that until Monday.
Meanwhile, I worked on the fittings for the dinghy roll-locks.
New Zealand anymore.
Oh my gosh.
And the kids had a mini music concert.
You should see that.
So one day when he's famous and he's a famous rock star, you can publish this video and show.
This is first fan club.
All right, busy day today. Okay, so this is another job that we do pretty much every time the boat gets hauled out, and so that's annually really, just to protect the hull and also make it look a bit nicer, but the main thing is really to protect it. So the hull gets really discoloured and from, I don't know, water pollutants and various things, so I just clean it over with a variety of cleaners. So this was recommended in Curacao actually. It's like toilet bowl cleaner, but it does get rid of sort of minerals, water stains, so I use that. And I clean the whole hull down, try and get rid of any stains and any sort of discoloration, and then polish it. So this year I'm using this fiberglass, it's an American polisher, so polish it all with the cloth, and then polish that all off. So you put it on, basically apply it, rub it all off, then polish it, and then the final thing is to apply wax. Wax is to protect it really, so polishing gets the colour out, make it look good, and then the wax is the final thing that really protects it. So you put that on and then you rub that off again. But in between that I have cleaned all the fenders, because the fenders get like gunk caught on them, and I think what happens when the fenders get older, they lose their protective coating, and so all sorts of, you know, dirt, just grime sticks to it. And I've been using, bizarrely, like metal seems to get it off the most, with the degreaser, and also bleach and anything really that will clean them.
The grey water bilge pump has stopped working. In the past it's been either the nylon nut or the diaphragm split, so I need to take it apart. It's a good job I tested it, because there is an automatic bilge pump in the grey water bilge, but if that gives out, the only thing left is the manual bilge pump. And the reason that is quite crucial is because everything drains into that grey water bilge. So the engine bay also drains into that grey water bilge. And if the automatic bilge pump doesn't work, it's our last means of defence. So if water does get into the boat, that's our way of pumping it out. So it is a bit of an emergency tool, as well as a backup tool for the automatic bilge pump. So what I need to do is take it apart and see what's wrong with it. Hauled out about a week ago now, and it's been a bit fits and starts. January and February are supposed to be the driest month in New Zealand, and yet we've had floods in Auckland, and it's just been torrential rain for the last few days.
Okay, so the wind has picked up as it does, and it's kind of forecast to be even more windy, especially on Tuesday. Yeah, our boat's already kind of shaking a bit at night, but
That was scary though. I was just sitting here, I would feel the whole boat shaking, and I thought this boat might actually tip over. But there's a small boat over there with only like one concrete brick on one side, both sides, and I think maybe that one could actually tip over. But luckily it's over there, not here. And so is that one. That one's small.
Got a bit of a weather window today, which we've luckily taken advantage of. We have been warned that the yard might be evacuated on Tuesday, because the winds are supposed to be quite high. I mean, they're gusting up to 40 miles an hour, and they have had extra concrete. They've added extra concrete blocks to the boat to hold it down. But obviously it makes it really difficult to work on the boat. We got it hauled out so we could do the outside of the boat, and now because of the rain and the wind, it's getting really impossible.
yeah, they've kindly put on another concrete block for us, so we've got two on each side now, so we're definitely not going anywhere, and I can't imagine that would happen.
Unless the cleats break. Those cleats, we're holding it on the cleats, and then those cleats could break, and then whee! We'll be in the lounge though, so we'll be okay.
Are you going to sleep in the lounge?
Yeah, I hope so. I really want to, because I don't want to be on the boat while it's shaking. But luckily my bed, it has like a mattress here and then a mattress like that. So if the boat tips over, I'll still be like on a mattress. And I'd probably still be asleep.
Yeah, Ewan's got some good points there that, you know, about the shaking and stuff. But actually, you know, our boat is a pretty solid boat, and we are kind of resting on our keel. I was more worried about the cracking of the hull actually with the movement, because you know, as the boat moves. But yeah, apparently there has been one tornado that came through and lifted up a boat, and another marina there was another 4 or 5. But I don't think we're going anywhere. We've got massive Lower Lita next to us, our friends, and their catamaran's huge, and I don't think that's going anywhere. So we're just next to them. So yeah, I think it's all good really. We've got another, I don't know, 5 days of this, so we'll just see what we can do. Anyway, life in the boatyard.
Because if we get kicked out of the yard, we've got nowhere to go really. We've got some friends down in Auckland, but Auckland's suffering from major floods at the moment. Apparently people's houses are getting flooded and people have been killed. So it's apparently it's the worst winter they've had in living memory, and we're right in the middle of it.
If you like following our story, please hit the super thanks and help towards the creation of these videos. And if you'd like to have more access, we would love it if you join our Patron family, where you get ad-free videos, cockpit sessions, downloads, guides, and you can message us directly.
So we've grabbed an opportunity today to crack on, but obviously we're a bit apprehensive.
Right, so this is my exciting job today, which was this needs a bit of repair, our canopy cover, but it also, what happened is all in the inside it got covered in mould. I didn't really get video of that, but the mould was in the roof. It was all just building up, the black mould, and it just made it look really old and horrible. So I tested this stuff. This is the stuff I tested here. Rapid Mold Killer, my favourite product, and sprayed it on lightly, and it actually just got rid of the mould in about 30 seconds, and then I quickly rinsed it off because I'm not sure, you know, that if it damages the fabric if you leave it on too long. Good as new again, and so I gave it a really good wash and hung it up here, and so you're going to dry it properly, then fold it up, and then we can do the sewing repairs on it.
I'm evacuating the boat because there's zombies!
Cartoonist book off.
Darry, what's going on?
We're evacuating the yard because of the high wind and high rain, and we don't want to get flooded. So we're going to go to our friends on the way. This is a state emergency. It's the biggest rain and wind thing since records began, and 7 people have died already, and we don't want to be one of them. So we're going to evacuate.
Yeah, so we've been watching the weather updates. The gusts have actually come down. They were 50 miles an hour yesterday, but now the prediction is they're going to be 42, but the actual wind speed is going to be 28. So the average wind speed's picked up, but the gust speed's come down. But even so, there's loads of floods in Auckland. There's been lots of people, well, not lots of people killed. There's been 7 people killed. The roads are really badly affected. So we're just getting the updates, and there's red warnings in various places, and there's road closures. So we're trying to work out detours as well. But we've got friends down in Auckland who are watching the roads as well, and they said that the road closures are clear. There is still one detour, but we've got to get down there as soon as possible because the yard is closing. The boatyard boss has said that they are going to evacuate the yard, and he's trying to sort out something with local motels, but what that is we're not sure. I mean, we haven't got the budget to stay in hotels and motels and stuff, so I think we've got to make a decision before lunchtime really, otherwise we're not going to have enough time to get down south. The only problem is there was a lot of rain forecast for the night and high winds, and we could end up getting stuck down there, and obviously we've got no idea of what the boat's doing, so it's a tricky situation.
We eventually decided to head south and stay with our friends.
Let's go!
Evacuating like the area is actually kind of fun. It's just like a big road trip.
So we're driving on this coastal road to get south. We're not actually going into Auckland, but we're going to our friends who live in Castor Bay, heading from Whangarei to Castor Bay. But yeah, you have to take this side route over the hills because there's no flooding here, because the other road, the main highway, has got flooding. It's lower ground. We're not actually leaving because of the flooding, because it's not flooding in our yard, but the winds are going to be very high tonight. We're going to have winds up to 50 knots of wind, and well, apart from the fact that they're actually considering to close the boatyard, they keep warning us. We also don't really want to be sleeping on the boat because we're right up on stilts in that strong wind, so just rather, you know, go into a nice dry firm house on firm ground. Yeah, we're going to go and stay with Nicola and Glenn and Blake and Leo. So you've seen them on some of our videos. We like hanging out with them as well, so that's quite fun. We've got a bottle of wine in the bag and our schooling. So yeah, we'll just stay there for a night and then probably come back the next day, because we really do have to start work on the boat again, because we only have a limited time to get all the jobs done, and this is not helping.
It's 12 o'clock, I'm Malcolm Jordan. Another bout of heavy rain could hinder clean-up efforts in Auckland. Met Service has issued red warnings for potentially dangerous rain in Northland from this morning, in Auckland north of Orewa from 5 p.m, and Coromandel Peninsula from 10 p.m. Auckland remains in a state of emergency, with at least 81 homes now red-stickered and thousands still to be assessed. Emergency Management Controller Rachel Kelleher says people can drop off storm-related waste to 9 dumps around the region, and they'll also make other facilities and skip bins available.
What just happened, Ewan?
We got emergency alert. It the phone just started going beep, beep, beep. And it's emergency alert from Auckland. It says do not travel, do not do anything.
So it says emergency alert issued by Auckland Emergency Management at 3:30 on Tuesday. Met Service has issued a red heavy rain warning for Auckland north of Orewa from 5 o'clock tonight. Act immediately if you see rising water. Floods can happen quickly. If you see rising water, do not wait for official warnings. Evacuate to high ground and stay away from flood water. It was actually really good to reconnect with some of our sailing buddies in their home.
We put in our route coming back from Auckland to avoid the flooded roads, and it's taken us way off grid. I mean, we're not even on a tarmac road anymore. We're on a sort of this single track gravel path that's taking us high into the hills.
Luckily, we had borrowed our other friend's four-wheel drive.
So we got back eventually, and luckily there isn't that much damage. There was some of the scaffolding we were using has been blown over, but luckily didn't hit anything. And the only other thing, the damage to the boat, was the steaming light, which we kind of knew was loose anyway, but the wind's completely taken it off and blown it off.
Look, the light from the front or the back of the boat, it fell down.
Steaming light. So I've got to say, this is exactly how these jobs escalate, and they end up down a complete rabbit warren. So I've taken the pipe out, and I thought it was just a little ridge to get over, but actually there's a hole. There's like a sort of small little ridge with a hole, and then you've got to get over another ridge. So there's a board with a hole in it where the pipes come through, and then you've got to get it over this ridge, which I didn't see until I put my head right inside the bilge. So I can't actually poke that pipe through. So what I thought I'd do is I'll try and get a bit of wire to get through that hole so I could use that as a mousing line. So I've gone into my wire bilge and just found this. So because we've just come through the New Zealand cyclone, there's been a huge amount of water, a huge amount of rain. You put an hour aside to replace a valve. Next thing you know, you're 3 hours down a rabbit warren job doing other jobs.
We're back on the sanding again. We decided that we'd take more of the anti-foul off because we just want to improve some of the area under the hull and redo some of the epoxy. So we got the Accu sanding back, and Woody it's gone on a whole new different level, and I think it's quite tiring as well, which is why at the end of it all, Woody needed to have a little sleep. Well, actually that was in the middle of the day, just like a 15-minute nap. But I'm gonna keep myself busy by making fender covers. Now it sounds like it's a bit fancy and you're not really necessary, but what I'm finding is every time I polish that hull, I find the bits that are worse is where the fenders have been. And not that we use our fenders a lot because we're not in marinas a lot, but when we are, they rub because they get dirty, and then they rub on the hull and they just destroy all the wax and everything that I put on there. So I'm making these homemade fender covers, and that should stop that happening.
So after weeks and weeks of rain, we got a couple of days which we've actually got sunshine, and so we're hoping the boat's going to dry out because we were hoping to kind of give it a clean down and then get the anti-foul on.
Finally got the paint and we're going to start painting. We came to All Marine, they are good company. They have good deals and everything, and they're really helpful. Alright, so we're putting on some more epoxy barrier just because we want to get an extra layer on the hull in some areas. So we decided to use Interprotect. It's international paint. It's a 2-part epoxy and we're using it with the hardener. So it's trying to get the measurements because it's so hot. We just want to do like a little bit each time, and we want to get 4 coats on. So we want to measure it and mix it separately really. So here we go.
And now Arenka wants to use my croissant box for mixing the paint. The problem is we've got lots of cockroaches and ants around here, and I'm not hungry yet. And so, what do you do with the croissant?
Why don't you just put the croissant like in your hood?
You mean like the Cornish miners when they used to put the pasties in there? How's that? Yeah, does that work? That's all right. Okay, problem solved.
So next stop is to collect our Genoa that's been repaired with UK sails. So yeah, we're going to go in there and hopefully they've got a sail. They're going to donate a sail because as you know, we like to cover our interior cushions with old sails, and we're due to recover them, and they said they might have an old sail they can have. So let's go and grab the sail. So this is the sail loft, and got the shoes loft here. And he's been really good, and he did it really quick, so it didn't even take 3 hours, which I was really chuffed about.
That's right.
Next on my list is to go into this store called Arnold Franks and see if they have this in bronze. This is just a 2-way ball valve, 3/4 inch, that attaches our saltwater intake to a outlet. That doesn't really make sense, but anyway, that's what it is. And yeah, it's kind of like a bit rusty on top, and you can only really do it when the boat's at the water, so we kind of need it before we get launched, which will be in the next few days. So let's see. It wasn't long until the next cyclone seemed to be heading our way. This time there was a lot more flooding.
We were just buying things, and then suddenly the lights went out, so now we have to use our torches to find everything.
Power cuts,
Panic buying.
and we nearly lost our solar panels. So we've just got to get the final coats of paint on now. One more coat of epoxy, which always turns out to be like 2 coats, and then Primacon, which will tie in all the other anti-foul and bits and pieces, and then 2 coats of anti-foul, and we're going with hard anti-foul this time.
So they're just bringing in the trailer now. They're going to lift us up so we can do the bottom of the keel, because that's one place we can never get to, because it's only about that far off the ground. So we'll get that done today as well. So I've removed the fuel pump and ordered the fuel pump service kit. They did send the wrong one at the beginning, but this one looks as though it's the right size. The gaskets match up to it anyway. So after 5 years, I think I'm finally going to have to give up on this Evinrude. I've basically serviced just about every part of it, and it's still been temperamental. So that's it. I've had enough. It's out. So we'll be out of the yard on Monday, actually, 2 days. A few last minute jobs to finish off. The list is still long, but at least we've got the stuff done that we need to do out of the water, and the rest we can do in the water.
Okay, so the waste of painting, I mean, in some ways we go sailing and we use the wind and we use solar, and you know, we sort of recycle everything and upcycle everything we can.
So I think it's as cruisers we get really smug about how environmentally friendly we are, how we create our own energy and travel by the wind, but the hidden cost of the environment is when you get the boat out of the water and there's so much sort of environmentally unfriendly paint and single-use plastics for trays and things like that.
All the kind of rollers and trays that you use that can't be used again.
I think cruisers are naturally quite sensitive to the environment, and it just goes against the grain, I think, when you get the boat pulled out, and you have to deal with all of this kind of this toxic waste, really, especially in a place like New Zealand, who are so careful about the environment and the environmental standards. If we'd thought about it and knew about it and had the money, we would have gone copper coat, because that just requires like a scrub down maybe once every year or two.
So like Woody was saying, you apply it and it should last about 10 years, and all you need to do is just wash off any of the fouling as it occurs, and it doesn't take off all the paint. There is a copper in it, which is supposed to be a really slow process of preventing too much building up, but yeah, you can clean it really easily.
So we've had the boat pulled out in 5 different countries now, and had to deal with the bureaucracy and the legislation and all the rules governed by those different countries. Some have got basically no regulations, and some, like here in New Zealand, have got quite a lot. There's a lot of things you've got to check actually before you get into a boatyard, like can you live aboard? You have to pay extra for the electric and the water. Some boatyards won't let you work on your own boat. You have to use their contractors, which are usually extortionately priced, and there's a massive markup with the boatyards. There's a lot of checks you've got to make before you actually move in the boatyard, because the price of the haul out and the storage is just the beginning. And if you're not careful, you could get stung for a lot of added extras that you're not expecting. So some don't allow pets or kids, but there's some that are really good. They have kitchens you can use and communal areas, and it can be quite a communal affair.
Okay, I think this is the cleanest boatyard we've ever been in. And not only that, they actually have a little vegetable plot here that the guy in there, he looks after. It's pretty good. They've got tomatoes. What else have they got here, Ewan?
They got
tomatoes. What's that?
I don't know.
Basil.
Can I eat it?
Basil, yeah.
It's strong.
Parsley. Do you recognise anything? And show where the mint is.
Dinner.
And I think this might be coriander. So the deal is you can help yourself, but I think they want me to make them lunch one day.
Everybody's so to speak in the same boat, because everybody's repairing their boats and going through the same old stuff, like trying to anti-foul the boat around the weather, trying to find suppliers, and just basically battle against the elements and time to get the boat back in the water. What makes it harder, particularly for us, is we've still got the kids, so we still have to do those things like homeschooling and stopping them from fighting and making meals and things like that. So it's about 7 o'clock in the morning and early start because we're going in at 7:30. So we're just waiting for the tractor to turn up and we're off. So it's going to be such a relief to get back in the water after all this time. We never seem to have much luck when we get hauled out. In Spain we had the COVID lockdown. In Curacao it was blisteringly hot and dry and buggy, and then this time we've had cyclones. So before they actually let you go, they give you a chance to check all of the holes in the boat, the seacocks, make sure nothing's leaking. So we've done a lot of servicing, so just checking the bow thruster. Looks pretty clean. And the other seacock that I changed is down here. So that looks good. Just check the other seacock. Yep, so all looking good. I'm just going to open it up.
Okay, yeah, so a bit of excitement, well at least the yard boys thought so. So we just, I don't know why I had the foresight today to test the bow thruster. We don't normally, but I don't know, it just went through my head. And so we tested it, and it a bit stuck as it came down, and then just as we turned it on, the whole propeller just flew off basically, and then just sunk. So Woody had to go down and get it. But at least he admitted the fact that he'd forgotten to tighten the screws, so it was nobody else's fault. It happened once before, a few years ago, when we were going into a marina and it just came off.
Okay.
But, sorry.
Well, no, that's alright. If he gets it out, are you able to put it on in the water? Or?
It is possible, yeah, I've done it before, but it didn't just drop, it just sort of went off slightly, so I'd say it's like down there.
Yeah, it's concrete at the bottom, so you should be right.
Oh, that's good, because normally you like got mud.
Yeah, there's no mud there.
And at least we did it here. I'd rather it did it here than in Whangarei River, which is really muddy and murky, and I don't know how deep it is. Really alright?
Good. Yeah, down that way. Go from there. Yeah, just spun off.
Oh no.
It's not at the surface.
You can see it, you can see it. It's a good way of waking him up.
It's probably the heavy won't come
We
up.
need about 5 coffees here.
Awesome.
Yay.
It's actually worth a lot of
I
money.
don't think I tightened that properly.
Yeah, you think?
Is it sheared off then?
No, it's just come off.
You don't think you even tightened it?
No.
Didn't even tie it.
Anyway, so now he's going to try and screw it back on.
Actually, can you make sure?
We have been finally launched, and now we have been we got into the water and we wanted to test our bow thruster. We tested it and it fell off, so Dad had to dive down and get it, and now he's putting it back on. We're filling up with water and then we're going to head off to Riverside.
Woody's just putting the bow thruster on, but he's putting each of the screws, that they're nylon screws, like just one by one. Sometimes these things that you do only come from experience. Like when things go wrong, then you know next time that this could go wrong, that could go wrong, and you have a million different things that could possibly go wrong. But we managed to complete everything, and it was time to go further up the river towards Whangarei town. Thank you for watching and enjoying these videos. So if you're the type of person that would like to thank us in return, then you can simply click on the super thanks button below, or otherwise you can support us on Patreon and get more than just 4 videos a month from as little as $3 a month. We look forward to seeing you there.